Hello and welcome to VGC. I'm Jordan Midler and today we have some brand new gameplay from Marvel's Midnight Suns.
Stay safe, ma'am.
I should probably tell you the same thing.
We had the opportunity to head over to Firaxis to test out the new game, including this brand new mission featuring Spider-Man. As part of the preview embargo agreement, this gameplay video has to be commentated, so you'll be stuck with me for the duration while I explain what we saw. But you know, I'll give Peter Parker plenty of time to quip away.
I'd seriously consider switching occupations if I were you, friend. I know, no job's perfect. But at the end of the day, it's all about the coworkers.
You may have noticed, if you recognize that voice, that it is in fact Yuri Lowenthal, who plays Spider-Man in Marvel's Spider-Man for PS4. Okay, so this is a kind of light deck-based strategy game. In this specific mission, what we are trying to do is get across the field and rescue these civilians before Venom, in his enraged state, attacks them.
I'd say let's all stop for a group selfie, but Eddie might get a little jealous.
I cannot fathom why one of my mother's fallen is so.
So the characters we have here are the Hunter, which is the original character you play as in Marvel's Midnight Suns,
Before those horns grew out of his head.
and we have Blade in our team.
Civilians. We need to get these people out of his way.
So as you can see here, I'm picking an attack to do with Blade. That meter on the right hand side is your heroism. That basically determines how many actions you can take. You can typically use around 3 cards per turn, or in that case, because I knocked that enemy out, I got my card refunded. So if you see also in the right hand corner, card plays, redraws and movements. So encounters become a bit of a puzzle of making sure that you can do everything that you want to do while also protecting yourself or healing if you're towards the later stage of a battle. We really found in our preview that Blade was incredibly powerful, especially when he starts to use his bleed abilities, which take down a lot of health. Interestingly enough, unless I am wrong, outside of Lego games and a skin in Fortnite, I believe this is the first Marvel game to feature Spider-Man that will appear on the Xbox since The Amazing Spider-Man 2. You can read our interview with the creative director of the game on videogameschronicle.com, and he says there was no problem whatsoever getting Spider-Man in the game, which is interesting when you consider that Crystal Dynamics had the exclusivity agreement for Marvel's Avengers, where he only appeared on the PlayStation versions of that game. So as you can see here, the goons have their own kind of their own turns, and they can interact with each other, or they can power each other up. And then, as you see, we just got a new set of cards dealt to us there. One of them being this Rescue Civilian Action card. And if you notice that Blade card in the bottom corner there is gold. I might flash over it in a second. That is because that card has been this one here, Make 'em Bleed. That is because that card has been upgraded. So throughout the game, you'll get opportunities to upgrade and combine your cards to make them better versions of themselves. Don't be scared by the idea of it being a card game. It is a deck building game. You're not opening packs to get special Marvel cards.
I'm in action. You're safe.
A few of the missions we played had this kind of element of an objective within the mission. So you would have to, for example, get across the field and destroy a specific kind of a specific, in this case it was a helicopter. Here you're trying to stop powered up venom from crushing these civilians, as he is so often wont to do. You know what he's like, Big Eddie. So the reason that he's all super hulked up at the moment is because in the story an ancient being called Lilith comes back, and she is basically taking Marvel villains like Sabretooth, Venom, and there's a few others, and imbuing them with this ancient power, and it's not good. They're very powerful. So it's up to the Midnight Suns and the Hunter, who you're playing as, to take them down.
Gotta get these people to safety.
Excellent animations in this. All the kind of really powerful moves look fantastic.
Vampires are not the only ones.
And also I found that the animations were really quick. It wasn't a case of you're playing a card and then waiting for an hour for it to actually do what you want it to do. It was very snappy. You can see here I'm being profoundly indecisive.
You do not have to show off for me, Blade. Our ally requires aid.
Glad you got my back.
So there's a few interactions between the characters that are, I believe, determined by what you do when you're at the kind of home base. When you walk around as the Hunter in the home base, you can go and talk to the characters and go on like platonic or maybe not platonic dates with them, and that'll change your bond with them on the battlefield, and that'll give you a few bonuses. It's all very interesting. It's all very different from what people assumed the game was. It's almost like Persona, this kind of relationship building aspect.
Wow. You two ever work with a guy named Craven? Come in here.
I didn't particularly like Spider-Man's moves, actually. I didn't think he was super damaging, but I suppose he's more about stopping enemies from moving and kind of pinning them down, whereas Blade is just absolute aggro 100% of the time. Speaking of,
Let's see what you got.
there's also knockback mechanics, as you saw there. So if you attack an enemy towards a car or a box or something, you can see that wee yellow indicator that shows where they'll get knocked back into, and that does more damage, and they can knock back into other enemies. So that's really satisfying, setting them all up like bowling pins and knocking them down. Okay, so the boss fights were slightly different. Obviously, the boss has a huge amount of health, and there will also be kind of minions like you see here. So it's kind of about managing them with some of your attacks, and then doing a lot of attacks on the boss because the boss does a lot of damage. So So you'll see there, I got a KO on that guy, knocked him into the exploding barrel, which KO'd the other one. It's a lot of stuff like that. It's trying to manage your cards or manage your moves so that you do the most amount possible in the shortest amount of moves.
Let us see if they have an answer for this. The light will heal
You'll see that I've made my hunter look like Sarah Connor. You can do a lot with the customization actually. It's fairly in depth. It's kind of the faces themselves that are a bit prefab, but the costumes very changeable, the hair, all that kind of stuff.
trapped.
So you see there, Venom has bound the hunter, so that character will be unable to move until one of my characters attacks the hunter to free them. But we won't need that because we have the most broken card in the game, which is Blade with Make 'em Bleed.
I recommend giving him a wide berth. Especially if he's feeling
Should get the blood pumping.
Actually, I spoke to the developers when I was at the event, and I was like, yeah, and I just started talking about Blade, and they were already like, yeah, he's amazing, isn't he? He's totally broken. I was like, please don't nerf Blade. Blade is so much fun to play as. So you see the symbiote skin there is a different stage for Venom. So if you attack him when he has the symbiote skin, or I believe it's when he has the symbiote skin, that will bound you. So you have to use ranged attacks like Spider-Man just did to kind of hold him down.
Mother tells us to hurry. No time to lick our wounds.
You see Venom just took 22 damage, which is quite a lot. That's Blade's insane bleed ability kind of coming to the fore. I found that in the couple boss fights we had, that applying that to a boss is a real solid strategy, because it's essentially guaranteed damage each time, and few cards themselves do 22 damage off the bat. So if you can get 22 damage all the time with that bleed on top of what Blade's about to do, like it really made kind of mincemeat of Venom. See, he only did 11 damage there with his traditional attack, and Blade will do double that. What I'm saying is, when you play the final game, invest in Blade. Put all your money in Blade coin.
If you wanted a hug, you could have just asked.
This creature fights with her strength.
Hydra doesn't know when to quit. We'll eat you first. Nothing can save you from us, little spider.
I get the impression that you're going to be able to really change up what your hunter kind of specializes in as the game goes on. We were quoted around 60 hours for a complete playthrough of the game, which seems a lot, but when you consider the social aspects that take place at the home base, it becomes a bit more reasonable that could be the case.
We will heal faster than you.
I know a lot of people, when this was first revealed, were a bit confused, like, about what it was going to be, and it wasn't really what people expected from the XCOM people. But once we actually sat down and played it we got like 4 hours of the game to sit down and play it, it's really engrossing, and the tutorial is really clear and smart about what's going on. It also gets you straight into using the heroes you want to use. You're using Iron Man, Captain Marvel, Doctor Strange straight away.
You only delay our meal. I sense your
It's worth noting that despite the fact that Yuri Lowenthal voices Spider-Man, this does not take place in the Marvel Games universe. I asked about that. I asked about it in relation to the Guardians of the Galaxy, which has allusions to Insomniac Spider-Man, as well as Crystal Dynamics' Avengers, but not in the same universe, according to the creative director. Although I wager there will be an Easter egg or two.
ought to make things interesting.
There's a huge number of costumes for each character as well, so I would not be surprised if the Insomniac Spider-Man costume is somewhere in there. As well as, like, I don't know, the film costumes I asked about, and they're considering it, but I'm not sure when that's planned to be implemented.
Not much has changed among the world's fanatics.
Look how fragile you are.
This is kind of a testament to how powerful Blade and Hunter are and how unnecessary Spider-Man was. For the back half of this fight, I mostly just left him in the goo. I was like, just get me back to Blade over and over again. The Hunter can heal, Blade can attack, and it'll be over fairly soon. There we go. The double-double.
Is a great victory, everyone.
Great victory, Spider-Man, as you stand there, good up to the nines.
Mother strength is eternal. We are eternal.
He fights like a damned Wendigo.
Unstoppable.
Oh, he's not unstoppable. Just really annoying. Huh. Not my worst idea ever. Good afternoon, Demo Venom! Here's a special request from all of New York to you, our slobbiest invaders since Thanos.
No word yet if they contacted Topher Grace to play Eddie Brock in this. But I know you at home are crossing your fingers that that is the case. It's highly unrealistic. That would never happen in real life. What kind of cable management is that?
That was exceptionally loud. Had to get bit by a radioactive spider with really good hearing.
I was going to say, amazing.
That's what the kids tell me. I think I'll pass out now.
Don't worry. I know a safe place.
And now that is you essentially recruited Spider-Man to the Midnight Suns, and that's the mission finished. So you'll see here you get different kind of bonuses. Gloss is a currency you use at the home base in order to purchase certain items. So that is it for our look at the Spider-Man mission in Marvel's Midnight Suns. What do you think? Let us know in the comments below. Be sure to check out videogameschronicle.com and subscribe to VGC on YouTube. I'm Jordan Midler. See you later on.